Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital. My name is Michael Chu. This is for the U.S. market recap video for week ending August 1st, 2025. We had our first day of August. We have a long rally since April 7th low. We up 16 weeks on the Nasdaq. We surpassed the new high, and we finally have one outside reversal week. This is very negative, at least in the short term. We may be having more pressure, and 50 days right underneath here, so there's a high chance that it will come down to 50-day. There was one stat from another IBD guest about, I think in the last 21 years, 20 of those years have a pullback to 50-day line before September 1st or something in the summertime. So we haven't had a pullback, to 50 days since the beginning of this rally. So it may happen. So just again, just a stat. That's pretty high odds of that happening. 20 out of the last 21 years. I don't know if that's the true stat, but that's more from one of the IBD guests live there. So this is something to be aware of. We may have at least a bad start to August. The 10-day is starting to turn down pretty heavy, sloping down quite a bit. So, the key is to watch this line, whether it can come back above it or whether it just keep getting rejected as it bounce back to the 10-day. Right now, near term, we're a little bit oversold because we're down here and the 10-day is here. So it may bounce, let the 10-day catch up, bounce back to it, and then see what happens there. So that's Nasdaq right now. Again, very negative week. I think it's down, 2% for the week, and now we're below the 10-day and 21-day. So in the same week we are now below just one day. It only took one day. That's how big the drop is on Friday here. Again, lots of big news. Obviously, let me look at the news here. We have a very weak jobs report. U.S. economy added 73,000 jobs, way below 110, and probably the most shocking thing is the May and June were revised really sharply down, and then Trump, like, has ordered I don't know if this is true, but it's been reported in news that they're gonna want to fire the Bureau of Labor Statistics because of how bad those numbers have to be revised. So that is very interesting. So S&P also very similar. We have a nice uptrend here, and again we have an outside reversal week, which is very negative in the short term. This is also broken the 21-day line now. Probably the worst thing is how it closed near the bottom range of the day. It didn't really recover much, from the gap down, and also even from intraday perspective, it really stayed at the lower range of the day. Like this is pretty bad looking because it's trading mostly under in the bottom half of this range, which means there's just not much pickup or even valid people who wants to buy, like, oh, because of the dip here. So that's not a good sign. Looking at Dow is also looking pretty bad. It was already below 21 day on Thursday, and then on Friday it already hit the 50-day moving average, the red line here. It did bounce off it, but that's because it's the worst. It's kind of one of the worst index right now, and so it already suffered a lot of drops. So it's normal for it to bounce back a little bit. Again, we'll have to watch this one. This more trading near the middle range. It was able to close near the middle range, but this one, the 10-day slope is really sloping down. Like, you see how this is the slope right now. So it's obviously coming down fast, but it's dropping even faster because of Friday's move. So it's definitely a little bit oversold right now. So it could bounce back to the 10-day before it goes even lower. So again, we'll be watching very closely how it reacts near the 10-day as the 10-day line comes down. So on the weekly chart for Dow, it actually looked a lot worse because, yeah, we have this rally, but look, it undercut like 4 weeks ago. Like from 4 weeks ago, it undercut all that low. So whatever gains it had made in the last 4 weeks has appeared, at least based on this index. And Russell is following the same. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, same thing. The last four weeks, including this week, will be 5 weeks. It gave back all that gains, and now we're stuck at that black line again with the 200-day moving average. And here we have the 50-day also right there at this juncture here. So they're kind of cross the 50-day looks like it's crossing back trying to cross back above the 200-day. So you can see it more clearly on the daily chart here. We're close to it, and this is pretty bad. Like it gave up all the gains in the last 4 or 5 weeks, which is pretty crazy here. So this is a much stronger pullback than the other indexes right now. Here's the in a way the IB50 ETF. This one again trying to break out this week, but it has reversed. This one is a little bit choppy when we look at the daily chart. So here we go. We we're holding tight, trying to make new high. We did make new high. It reversed from Thursday's high, and then Friday morning it gapped down so hard, but it did bounce back quite a bit to close near the 21-day line. So definitely some recovery there, but it's still overall a pretty bad day for growth stocks. And so this one again recover from the morning drop, make new intraday high, and then it came back down to kind of near where it opened. So it's a little bit neutral in that sense, but overall we obviously still in a little bit of a downtrend right now, and the slope is pretty strong. So I even if it surpassed this slope, I don't know, unless it's a V shape like this one. Um, Even then, it's just a little bit weird lately, right? Because it dropped so fast in 2 days, and it bounced, take like 4, 5, 6, 7 sessions just to make new high, and now we're seeing the same thing again, and this is a much wider range here, right? So I think at best we might just consolidate sideways, which may not be a bad thing for the growth stocks if they can do that. Like, this is the top 50. So, obviously other growth stocks that are below 50 could be worse. But at least this is what's in the top 50. So meaning like it could, go sideways, hold up, before the next run again. So we'll see. Let's wait what happens. From the Investor Business Daily newspaper here, non-farm payroll growth. Again, it's 73,000, and then the last May and June, you see how low it is? It has been revised to really low, like 15,000 jobs or something, compared to over 100,000 jobs. That's why the market is a little bit, not happy with, not only the lower job, but like 3 months now of lower job here. CPE also went up a little bit, so there's inflation as well. So this is not a good sign for the Fed. Now they're going to be struggling between inflation and lower job growth. Uh, yeah, and the real GDP, like the GDP, did come in pretty good as well. So that's still a good sign, but these two indicators are a little bit more worrisome. Treasury yield, we see a huge drop on Friday because of what happened to the job numbers. So now, people are definitely worried about the economy now. So, and what Fed can do. Are they going to fight inflation, or are they going to lower their rate and help the economy, right? So that's the next big question. There might be some uncertainties right now, but that's a very big bar. Like, I mean, I'm looking back here, I don't see any bar that big, so that's a little bit of a concern. Yeah, I don't see any bar that is that big. I mean, here is pretty big, but those ones are bouncing back. So this one is pretty big, that one's bouncing back, but this is like straight down and close at the low. So this could be a problem, the other thing that happened this week is U.S. dollar has rebound. So big run here. It come out of this trend line. It did, fell back a lot because of the job numbers. Well, maybe the economy is now weakening, so that might hurt the economy and the dollar here. Oil also tried to move this week. Bounced really strong when Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday came back down. Again, probably related to economy now. So the market may be more sensitive to the economy now that we are kind of making a turn. Whether this is a real turn, we don't know. But if the economy is going to get weaker and weaker and weaker, and then the market will be very focused on that until maybe the Fed does something to help release the economy. So we have gold. Gold also bounced quite a bit on Friday, 2%. It's now above the 10-day. So it's been sitting at this line. Like most of it is above that line, except this last few days here. Most of it are above that line, so it could go again at some point. This is the traditional buy point at the top here. Silver still look pretty weak, so looks not good at this moment. And then we have the huge news about the copper tariffs from Trump administration that really dent this chart right here. His huge drop, 19%, because I think it was 50% tariff on copper, something like that. Anyhow, but it was such a big move. Like this is incredible move on the downside. Bitcoin is starting to give up a little bit, just like the market is overall. It's now below 21 day and very near the 50 days. So we're looking for support there. Last time we found support, you see how it bounced right there. So we're gonna be looking for support here most likely. So this general market indicator, we're gonna look at the NYSE, New York Stock Exchange Advanced Decline Daily Line. This a little bit troublesome. Like this week, it just constantly fall and fall and fall. The last four sessions, 5 sessions actually, the whole week, and we are making new lows right here. Meaning like there's way more stocks going down than stocks going up. So that's why we this is the S&P compared to S&P NYSE here, and then we have Nasdaq Advanced Decline Daily Line. Even though we hit the top 2 days ago, this one has been dropping even before that. Again, this is like a little bit of diversion versus index. So we have seen way more stocks down. I mean, Friday we saw 3,000 versus 1,000 up, 3,000 down versus 1,000. That's a 3 to 1 ratio on the downside. That's pretty crazy. And now we like all the way back to the lows again. You see, like of this event decline line. So techs are definitely a lot weaker. S&P, we're getting towards the bottom channel line here. So this is also looking very weak right now. Thursday we have a reversal that increased the distribution day on S&P to 4 now. And then on Friday, even though we didn't have a distribution day, IBD decided to change the allocation back down to 60 to 80%. So overall, they still have a little bit on the bullish side. But on the stock side, we see lots of distribution. You see how the numbers increase from hundreds to 200 to 300 to 500 to 600 stocks by the end of the week based on the stocks that I monitor here. And then on the industry group side, again, you see way more industry groups by the end of the week, 125 versus 27. The under distribution versus accumulation. On the sector side, we are seeing pretty much negative across the board, also increasing overall throughout the week. And you can see financial here have the most stocks down, retail second, and industrial third, and technology quite a bit as well fourth. And like just every sector is getting hit hard, and health and also commodities, energy, just getting hit hard. So really not much like in terms of the overall market, like a lot of stocks getting hit hard. So yeah, I'll be doing my next video after this, the growth stocks list. Obviously, there's lots of new earnings report, and so a lot of stocks are still moving based on that. And we will see some of those leaders at this moment. Of course, when the market going to pull back, they're going to drag most of the stocks down, and that will set up for the next rally. So we'll be going through that as well. So this is 1X Semiconductor ETF. This one again, very nice rally, make new high recently. But this week we have a negative reversal, outside reversal, so that's not a good thing. And it also undercut, I think, probably the last 3 weeks low. So this is not a good sign right here. Look at this. Of course, we did bounce back again on Friday, like but nonetheless, if you draw a slope along the top highs here, we're still seeing a very steep line, so it's normal for it to bounce back a little bit, especially when it's oversold in the short term. So we'll see what happened here. Again, 50-day line and 21-day line is right there. So either it can go lower and bounce, we'll see, or it can go sideways, or it can do V-shape and recover right away. So we'll see what happens here. So at this moment, we're seeing this really down slope line. Yeah, it's quite a steep slope, so there's a high chance it will come down today. So just beware, and just speed of how fast it came down here is really something to be concerned about. So yeah, looking at Vago here, it looks kind of similar, except it's better because it's above the 21 day, and it's still below the 10 day, but it's at least near here. Nvidia actually looks good too. It obviously they all follow the market. falling, but it did bounce back to the 10-day, so that's still pretty good sign here technically. Our TSM also falling pretty hard. This one actually fell below the 21-day, and now it's trying to come back up to the 21-day. So this one's a little bit weak. AMD, this one, yeah, this one also very strong. This is actually bouncing up to 10-day. Okay, moving on to IGV, the ETF for software group. Also a big reversal. Wow, this came back down to the red line pretty fast here. So yeah, this looks a little bit more damaging. So we'll see. This is like, it's been a long time since it came near the 50-day, and now we just reach it in very fast, very fast time. So generally, when you have such a big vertical violation, it usually takes a lot more time for things to improve. But again, and I never want to say never. Sometimes you get a V-shaped rebound. But again, with this steep slope, we want to see how it recovers, how it reacts around the 10-day line here. So we have some of the mega caps reporting this week, including Microsoft. Really strong earnings report. It did reverse pretty hard though, since gapping up, and again we broke this top trend line. It made the 20% gain from the traditional buy point. So now it's starting to possibly either pull back and maybe consolidate a little bit. How we'll see how long. No one knows how long it will consolidate. Obviously, again, we could have a V-shaped bounce. Let's see what happens as it comes near the 10-day. But this is giving back a lot so far. Another stock that make new recent high is Meta right here. Look at this nice breakout. Report earnings as well. The earnings is not, at least for my criteria, is a little bit low, right? A lot lower than the 10%. However, this is mega cap, so it's a lot growth here, but now it's kind of single digit, right? So for me, this is not the strongest fundamental, but nonetheless, the market liked the report. And also this one has pulled back on Friday as well quite a bit, down 3%. So again, the 10 days coming up. So again, for those stocks that are in kind of uptrend mode, where the 10 days is rising, we'll see how this pullback turns out, whether they will find support at those 10-day or not. Amazon also reported, unfortunately, this one did not do well at all. This one like came all the way to below the 10-week. Again, very minute earnings here, like guidance, very low single digits. Again, this broke the all the trend lines here. This is pretty bad. Like when you have a day that break 10, 21, 50-day, again, generally they don't recover that fast. So we'll have to see. Again, this trend line is so steep. So we'll watch. Obviously, it's oversold right now, but we'll see what happens as the 10-day comes down and how it will behave after. Next, we have Google. Google also coming down. So this one reported the week before, and it was okay, but since then it tries to bounce back, but now slope line also very steep. Look at that pullback. Again, giving up all those gains like from the last, I don't know, 6 sessions here. That is not a good sign. One of the things that I learned from David Ryan on IBD is that he always talk about is how monitor how stocks come down. If they come down really fast but come back up really slowly, that's not usually a good sign. Sometimes it will work, but most of the time it's just not a good sign. And then vice versa, if they go up really fast but come down really slowly, that's a good sign, right? So those are things that I watch for. We also have Apple reported. Again, this one is not doing well. They just really have lost their momentum in terms of growth here. Let's just quickly look at the future growth. It's in the single digits now. Earnings and sales, like and this one, yeah, it was doing well after the report, but after it just gave up so easily. So this is a very negative reversal because it was up in the morning, but then it gave back everything and more. That's a tremendous selling pressure right there. Tesla tried to bounce early in the week with some robotaxi news, but again, with the expansion into, I believe, San Francisco. But now it's again starting to, it just give back so easily, and looks like it make a new low, recent low here. So this is not good. And we had this huge upper channel line, it just couldn't go through. Look at how many times it tried right here. It just couldn't go through it. And finally, this is one of the early report stock. for whatever reason, it started to pull back even before the earnings, and it has, tightened up quite a bit here. It's still making newer lows though. That's the one thing I don't like. Even Thursday, Friday, I thought maybe it has a chance to find support, but again, it just keep making new lows, not by a lot, but just, even a little bit. So, again, I have to say, most of the mega caps are looking very weak, and because the index are weighted, like for example Nasdaq are weighted, so with this drop, this could be more trouble for the market to come. And again, 50-day is not unlikely. It has a high chance of coming down to the 15 days. So I'll be more like, if I do like any stocks, I at least want to wait till the market has pulled back to the 50-day. Again, with the stats I mentioned at the beginning, high chance of that happening. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and follow me on the next video related to growth stock list. And there's lots of names to go through. Thank you all. Have a good weekend.